report that to law enforcement so they can then come and shut these signs off and shut these places down. They've just flooded down here. Once they realized the weather was gone, they needed to get in here and help. The water's about waist deep on me. In the span of just 3 feet, it drops 3 feet in depth. So what was my waist is now up at the top of my head. I bring this up because it's just north of the exit off of 275. Disturbing new details in the death of a Massachusetts high school math teacher who police say was murdered by her student. We're friends now. We had a close encounter a minute ago, but we're buddies now. It took one of these big bags finally hitting the ground outside a bus to prove to some of these folks that this Christmas miracle was really coming true.
My husband flipped on the light and said, "Get up and get out." I'm in my pajamas.
Under orders from firefighters, Pat Simons and her husband bolted so fast they had to come back later to grab keys and medications. Wayne Irby lives next to them.
Not the one with the sinkhole, but the other side of the fence. I called my boss early this morning, 6:20, something like that, and I told him I'd be here late today. I got a sinkhole in my backyard. He was like, "Oh man, you gotta be kidding me."
They're 2 of the 6 families asked to leave by first responders. They say the hole is now 35 feet across, 30 feet deep, and still growing slowly toward the street. The ground around it is still soft.
Do I have to move? Do I have to move? I've been here for so long.
The nerves are from much more than just this one hole.
With the activity around here, I mean, there's a good chance that any one of these homes could be next.
Brett Robinson's mother lives a couple hundred feet from the hole. He says crews discovered potential chasms under her house not long ago and did extensive underground repairs. It was supposed to be a 2.5-hour flight into the Florida sunshine. Instead, it became a 12-hour ordeal when one simple but critical light came on in the cockpit. They're groggy, sore, and stepping off buses 12 hours after they'd planned to step off a plane here. But the memory of their emergency landing in small-town Albany, Georgia still jars them.
We get butterflies in our stomach, the nose was down.
That thing dropped real quick.
You have that moment when you think, what do I want my last words to be?
Christy Bonser clutched the tiny hand next to her. Her son Brody was about to turn 5.
You're looking out the window, I don't see palm trees, so I know I'm not in Florida. And, I grabbed his hand and I said, "I love you, Brody, hold on tight." And he said, "I'll be brave for you, Mom." So, I'm just happy to be alive.
The airline says at 9 p.m. the pilot spotted a warning light, a possible fire in the cargo hold. He landed moments later at an airport that was shut down for the night, with most staff home and ready for bed.
To jump off the plane on that ramp was quite an experience.
Everyone was going down the chutes, walking away from the plane, and we were standing out in the tall grass, just, what do we do next?
On the ground, an inspection showed there was no fire. It was a false alarm. 6 hours after the landing, charter buses left, headed for Tampa Bay, 155 passengers aboard. A lucky dozen folks got to ride in a limo. It's what the airline could get on short notice. 6 more hours, and finally, some people were starting their Florida vacations, and others, like the Bonsers, were home. A spokesman for Allegiant says that everyone on that flight will get their entire round-trip airfare refunded. They'll also get a $200 credit toward future travel with Allegiant. Reporting at St. Pete Clearwater International Airport, Grayson Kamm, 10 News.
Atta boy.
You're about to plunge nearly 25 miles through the stratosphere. Only one thing connects you to that big blue ball so far down below.
Start the cameras.
That comforting voice in your ear.
And our guardian angel will take care of you.
That voice in skydiver Felix Baumgartner's ear belongs to the only man in the world who knew what Felix was about to experience. Because that man, Felix's radio link to mission control, was the one who held the records Fearless Felix was about to break.
Jump her away.
He went 837 miles an hour, and he made a fabulous jump. I had a guardian angel when I made my jump, and he had the same guardian angel.
More than 50 years before he would eventually serve as Felix's radio link to the ground, Air Force Colonel Joe Kittinger took that same step. This is the original film from 1960. Kittinger jumped from beneath a balloon 103,000 feet above the earth and fell and fell and fell.
It's a weird sensation because you're going extremely fast and you know it, but there's no real indication how fast you're going. I rolled over my back and looked up at the balloon, and the balloon was firing into space. And then I realized that it was me going down very fast, and the balloon was standing still.
Why take that incredible leap? Kittinger was a leader in an Air Force effort to prove pilots could survive emergencies up where there's nearly no air. And he also tested gear that a new kind of American aviator would be needing soon. These brand new pioneers, they were going to be called astronauts, would need spacesuits that worked.
There wasn't any hesitation, there wasn't any doubt in my mind about it when it came time to jump. I was there for a purpose. I believed in it. I believed that I was going to get down safely, or I wouldn't have been there.
The records Kittinger set that day for highest and fastest free fall would survive for more than 5 decades.
This was my field of dreams, was right here at this airport.
Kittinger, who his buddies call Colonel Joe, talked with me at a park named in his honor. It sits by an airport in Orlando, where he'd watched planes take off as a teenager. Before that, Kittinger lived in the city where he was born, Tampa. That is the future pioneer of flight as a baby in the 1920s. He's at his home along the Hillsborough River. In the distance, you can make out a landmark, the Sulphur Springs Water Tower. Just like Joe Kittinger in 1928, it was brand new.
Florida is a wonderful place to grow up, hunting and fishing, outside, outdoors. And I was just very fortunate to have that opportunity.
When Felix Baumgartner assembled his Red Bull Stratos team, trying to finally outdo Colonel Joe, Felix invited the now 84-year-old expert to join his squad.
I respect him for his ability, and he respected me for my ability. I'm old enough to be his grandfather, but that didn't influence our relationship.
Joe helped design Felix's breathing system. He helped plan out the pre-jump checklist. He agreed to be the radio link to mission control on Earth. But then the moment finally came, and Colonel Joe was as helpless and breathless as the rest of the world watching.
Well, his heart rate was about 160. Mine was probably 200, because I was more excited than he was looking over there, because I knew what he was looking at, and I knew what was going to happen. But there was a couple of periods during the jump that I was really concerned by him spinning, but he got out of both of them quickly.
Showing Felix in a stable descent.
Once he got through the spins and got stable, I no longer worried, because I figured it was just a parachute jump now, and he made a perfect landing.
Staring down from the stratosphere, it may seem like the loneliest place on Earth or above it, but Colonel Joe will tell you there is no better way to see how we all depend on each other.
The world got to share in this experience and got to watch a fantastic feat of bravery and a fantastic scientific event that we all contributed to. So we're all proud of that. We're all proud of being a part of that enterprise.
In Orlando, Grayson Kamm, 10 News.